everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast is going to be about food culture. Hopefully, today's podcast is going to be a little bit interesting. Let's dive in. So, why does food matter so much to us? Online, you see so many diets, so many types of food. Most people that start a career about food, you open a restaurant, you make so much money. If you go out in a popular neighborhood, you will find a lot of restaurants, right? People all the time talk about food. They went to this restaurant. You go to social media, you find reels, posts. Most of them are about food, right? The food they eat. You take pictures. They're like, this is tasty. This restaurant is good. This is that. There is so much content around food. It's everywhere. There is also talk about it. You go to weddings, most of the time the talk is about, if the food was terrible, it was good, but the food was terrible. Like, it seems like the food can ruin everything. So food is everywhere. So let's turn the wheel of time and go back to ancient societies. So food and cooking, in a way, was a turning point in human evolution. It made digestion easier, and that helped, the brain grow faster. In a real sense, food made us smarter. So again, food is the only thing we need every single day. And that's why there is so much talk about it, right? It carries emotions. It carries power. So in a way, we can survive without art, music, even conversation for a while, but not without food. And humans turn this basic need into like a ritual. It becomes a tradition, a pride in conflict. Most of the time, we talk about the best cuisine, which is the best cuisine, right? Is it this? Is it the Italian one? Is it the Spanish cuisine? Is it the Thai cuisine, right? Is it the Moroccan cuisine, right? So there is always this talk about cuisines everywhere. There are a lot of TV shows about cooking. So if food is survival, why do we complicate it so much? Humans don't live on efficiency alone. We add meaning to everything. If food were just fuel, we'll all eat tasteless food and just move on. Instead, we fight over the recipes, defend our cuisine like a flag all the time. We pass dishes down like inheritance. Like most of the time, you hear people saying, look, my grandmother used to make this kind of food and I know how to make it. My grandmother taught me this and that, right? So we teach it to our kids and grandkids, right? It's something that we cherish all the time. And most of the time, good food, good recipes survives, like evolution, right? The fittest survived, right? Same thing for food. The best recipes survived and the worst ones did not survive. So naturally, humans aren't simple anymore. Before, food was just for survival purposes, and people needed to just eat so that they can grow up, and that's it. But as we evolved, things got a little bit more complicated, right? We talked about the brain evolution. So your brain now evolves. We need better food. You don't need to think so much about the digestion, because if you eat raw meat, it will take a long time to digest. But if food is cooked, you don't need to suffer so much. You don't need to be sleeping a lot, because if you eat a lot of raw meat, you need to sleep a lot. Now that food is cooked, so there is so much that we can think of, so much that we can do, and now we can make tastier recipes, and also recipes that help us, survive for a long time. So food, again, is not just a survival thing anymore. It's something that we cherish, something that is in every part of our life. We have 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day, right? We are on different diets, right? Every diet is going to make you a certain way, is going to serve a certain purpose. So now food is so integral in our life that even insulting like someone's food feels like a personal attack. You're not just attacking the dish, right? You're not saying this particular dish is not good. You're attacking like the memory, the food tradition, right? That most people are, again, attached to. So it's important that's why they say you should not like insult someone's food because there is so much that is tied to that particular recipe that people would defend it to the core, right? They would not just let you just tarnish that heritage and that tradition just by saying this is not good. If I taste a Chinese dish and I'll tell my Chinese friend that look, this is horrible, this is that, they are gonna feel offended, and especially if that dish is like their favorite, right? So it's gonna be very difficult for them to just accept that that dish is not really good, right? You know, an interesting fact about food: when like a generation stops cooking a traditional dish, it often disappears completely. Many recipes vanish not because they're bad, but because no one remembers them anymore. So, why does food carry so much emotion? And you might have noticed this, like people could get attached to a specific dish, you know? Food is attached in a way to care. Someone had to grow it, buy it, cook it, and serve it. That chain of effort creates emotional weight. And this is why home cooked still means something, right? Even when restaurants are better, you'd prefer home cooked meals because there is so much that goes into cooking that food, right? There are specific dishes that take a day or like a couple of hours, like 8, 7 hours to cook. Imagine spending 7 hours to cook something. The attachment to that food is going to be huge, right? Cooking something in the air fryer for like 30 minutes or 18 minutes is not going to be that special. So the more time you spend cooking something, the more emotion it carries. That person got tired cooking that, probably died cooking that food, right? Just kidding. But you know, it's imagine dying while trying to cook food and somebody would not like commemorate you, will just eat the food. You're like, yes, eat that food there. Yes, I'll leave you the food. That's my legacy to you. I'll leave you that last meal. Would be interesting. I know most of you these days don't eat like alone. So there is this tradition that we have that you have to be in like the family, or you have to eat together with everybody. So the family table. So why does it matter so much, right? Why don't we just take the plates, eat in separate places, or eat separately? Why? You see, there is so much that we can learn from just eating as a family. Children, as they grow up, learn patience, right? Because you have to sit there and wait for someone to serve you food, or just wait for like 30 minutes until everybody's done and you can go. You learn also turn taking and also respect at the table. You learn also to serve, like, you know, set the table, right? Children can learn to set the table and at least learn to cooperate and help. And also, you learn to socialize. Most of the time, most conversations happen at the table while you're eating. You talk about this, you talk about that, right? So there is so much connection that happens at the table. It's not just a tradition, it is something that helps us bond. I don't know if you've noticed this with food, but when you eat food together, like with a family, with a group, with people, it somehow tastes better, right? I don't know, maybe you've had this before, but to me, at least, I just noticed that food somehow tastes better when I'm with a group than if I am alone. And in a way, like early humans who ate in groups survived more. So I think it's probably tied to survival. And that instinct stayed with us until today. Loneliness kills appetite. If you're lonely, you're less likely to eat a lot. But if you are with a group, you're more likely to eat. This is the other thing that I've noticed about, like when you're stressed or, I don't know, feel a certain way, you feel unwell, you somehow crave the same dish. So I don't know. I think it's probably maybe because about predictability. We want life to feel more predictable or familiar to us. And I feel like, you know, when you're stressed, like your brain remembers which kind of food that made you happy, And then like your brain is trying to like cheer you up, right? Passively trying to cheer you up. Because if you eat the same food that made you happy before, again, food is tied to emotions. Every food that you tastes are tied to memories, right? Maybe when you tasted that particular food, you felt happy. You had a very good memory. So your brain is going to give you that food that made you feel happy so that you can de-stress in a way. If you have the same food that you had when you were happy, you are going to feel happier and better. Okay, something very interesting. Street food. Why? Why do we like street food? It's interesting. And no matter where you go, where you grow up, street food still tastes so damn good. And I feel like street food is like a culture without makeup. No branding, there is no storytelling, just survival and creativity, right? You eat food outside, you do not really have like a brand on it. You might get germs, but you still get food. That's why people say it tastes good because of that. A lot of microbes. I don't know. I mean, we don't judge, okay? We don't judge. So street food adapts faster, right? And it listens to people. That's why it stays relevant most of the time. People street food, they're like, I had this really delicious street food. You gotta go check it out. So it's like it passed on very, very quickly as opposed to like the traditional food like at restaurants. And what is the most delicious street food you've had? I can't really think of something. There was this guy, he used to serve like it was turkey with some other like some salad, some sauce. And I remember when we used to like get out of university, we used to get out late. That was like the place that we go to. Like there is also mashed potato there, and and it serves with like I don't know, turkey, eggs, and it's like this combination. Also like onion. It's just like a very good combination, and it tastes so good, right? I know this is the only thing that I can think of, but maybe you've had other thing that you've had something tastier. And I still remember into today, that is so good. If I had it again, I could have that street food forever and ever. And I don't think that taste is going to be washed off. It's just going to stay there forever. Now, we have to talk about social media. Every time you want to sound interesting, you're like, what do you think about social media? Like, it's everywhere. We have to, like, use social media to talk about food, right? So, in what way social media changed food? So, how did it change it, right? If you think about it, right? If social media, everything gets spread, right? Everything gets shared. So naturally, more people are going to be interested in some kind of dishes. You take a picture, you share it there, people are going to look at it, and they are going to be curious, especially if you say tasty. I've had this tasty food. People are probably willing to go to this restaurant, right? And check the food. And people also can be judgy, right? If you share a picture on social media and someone says, right, terrible food, that's the worst place I've been there, right? Most people without even tasting that food are not gonna like it. So let's say I'm a person that I'm loved by a lot of people, and I take a picture of a certain food from a certain restaurant, and then I say, "Oh my god, the worst bland food I've ever tasted." If I have a lot of followers and they like me, I feel like they are gonna associate certain emotions to that food, right? Regardless of the restaurant, people are gonna like instinctively start to hate that food too, or not like that food. So whenever they go to a certain place, they don't want to eat that food, right? If I'm an influencer and say, all right, look, tacos is like the worst food ever and the most boring food I've ever tasted. Like, how can you make something like that, right? So most people that follow that particular celebrity are not gonna like tacos anymore. Even if they like it, they are going to start to hate on that food too. Like, oh yes, Tacos is the worst. Why should you have tacos when you can have other delicious food there, right? Or you can have sushi, or you can have that. It's interesting, like how food can be tied to like just a particular person, and social media serves to like inflate it in a way to make that attachment to the food way worse. I don't know, this is a question to you. What is your favorite dish or cuisine? Like, what is the food that you consider like the best? I remember I had this, I mean, outside of my own country food, best dish that I've tasted is this Thai dish. It was seafood and there were other ingredients in it. I don't remember the name of it, but it was so damn good. I could have that dish again and again. It was so spicy and it was so good. That I just I was he served me a big pot and I was able to finish all of it because it was so tasty. So that was the food that I've had outside of my own Moroccan food that it was so good. What about you? What is the most delicious food you've had outside of your own country food, right? What is the most delicious food you've had and that still lingers on you right now?